Testing is officially done, which is such a good feeling. However, testing for my district is not done. I still have about a good 2 weeks for that. So today I'm going to be taking you guys along with me as I start kind of wrapping up for the end of the school year, start prepping for some of my assessments and showing you some of the things that I do. Hello everyone, my name is Bridget Spackman. I'm a multi-age teacher in Central Pennsylvania. I teach 4th, 5th, and 6th grade kiddos across all content areas, but I have a passion for ELA instruction, authentic instruction, and rigorous teaching. So if those are things that are interest to you, go ahead and be sure to hit that subscribe button so that you can get notified when I upload new videos. Okay, so I was not planning on vlogging today, but I am kind of doing some little odd and end items to start kind of purging things, cleaning out things, because we all know that I really enjoy purging things towards the very end of the school year. So I'm going to be showing you guys some of the things that I'm doing. I'm actually weeding through a lot of my library. I'm starting to clean out closets, things that I feel like I haven't really touched in quite some time. So my rule of thumb is if I haven't touched it in a year, then I just need to get rid of it. There's really no point in me having it. I think, one, that does a number of different things. It will allow us to stay fresh and current with some of the activities and the way that we teach and, incorporating more technology aspects. And two, it just kind of declutters the space and it makes you feel so much better. And so I like to make sure that I'm going into the school year feeling good about it. So let me show you a couple of things that I've done. So first of all, I've changed my desks again. I mentioned in a vlog a couple of months ago, my speaking is not there, guys. You're the first people I'm talking to. That I did not want to put my kids into big groups because I felt like they were not ready for that. They were very, very chatty. And so I stuck them into pairs. So they were like sets of two. Now that PSSA testings are done and we have maybe about 14 days, I hope I'm counting that correctly, left, I did go ahead and put them into groups. I will be honest, they are chatting. I do have to stop them multiple points. What used to be a very quiet classroom in the morning is not so quiet. But it's new for them. They haven't done it in a really, really, really long time. And so I can understand where they're coming from. So I just have to give them multiple reminders. And I'm aware of that. And so long as I'm aware of that, I think everybody's day is going to be okay. The other thing I started doing is I mentioned weeding through my library. However, I don't want to set books out just yet. So I've tried to start separating the books. What are the books that I really want to keep? What are the books that I want to give to others? I saw a quote, gosh, I want to say maybe it was about 2 years ago, that talked about the importance of curating a library versus just accumulating a library. And what that means is we have to be very mindful of the books that we're putting into our library. One, we want it to remain current. We want it to be books that our kids are interested in. We don't want it to be a library where the kids feel like they have to kind of really read through it to find the books that they truly want to love to read. We're trying to encourage reading. We're not trying to overwhelm them to the point where it discourages reading. So I've been going through my library because I have a pretty large library that I have to kind of make sure that I'm constantly adding. And I have more books at home, guys. It's so bad. I have so many chapter books, so many things at home that I probably need to bring here. I'm sure my husband would love that. And I've got to start weeding things out. So here's what I did. So here's what I've done so far. Basically what I've been doing is I've been weeding through these books, as you can see. I've been weeding through them and I've been trying to separate them. Now I know that I will most likely have to double check these again because my kids are still using a lot of these books. But what I did is I kind of separated it. So you're going to notice these are orange. These are science fiction. Now, originally I had all my science fiction in kind of one little section, but what I did is I started placing the books that I know that I'm not going to keep because either I have multiple duplicates, or my kids are not reading them, or I just have a lot of duplicates. I know I said that twice, but I do have a lot of duplicates. And so I placed them up here to be able to give them a new home. And then the ones that I absolutely want to keep, I've just been kind of piling. As you can see, these are ones that I'm keeping here. I've just been kind of piling them into a section so that I know that those are going to be the ones that I'm going to keep for the remaining year. As we start to get closer to the end of the school year, teachers will put out like things that they're getting rid of, donations. We'll have a spot inside of our faculty room. So that way, a lot of these books can go there. And I can just have a defined separation between what I want to keep, what I don't want to keep. So that's what I've been working on. The other thing that I've been doing, I'm just catching you guys up to all of the things, is I've kind of created a little map for the remainder of the school year. Let's look at how many days I have left. So here is the rest of my school year. Normally, we will have this week, and then sometimes we will go into the next week of June. This year, we're not. This year, we are out before Memorial Day, which is wild. I feel like I have not had that since I lived in Alabama, and whoa. So today is Friday. You're going to notice it says track meet. This is the weather outside right now. Obviously, the track meet is not going to happen today. So with the weather, we have a rain date. The rain date is on Thursday. So you can see that I've had to kind of move some things around, and I kind of noted that in red here. So today is going to be a normal day. Unfortunately, I can't move any of these assessments here because this is not the assessment window. We have a specific time frame for when we're allowed to give the assessments. So I'm just using this as a day to kind of finish up some of our opinion writing that we have in my ELA classes. And then on this date, this is where it's going to get confusing. I'm going to take my writing assessment and move it here. So I'm going to read and start the writing assessment. The kids are then going to write the next day. And then this day, I'm actually not going to be here because I have some personal things that I need to take care of, unfortunately, which I try never to take a day at the end of the school year. So I will be out that day. So the kids will write the day that I'm out, which is fine because I can't help them anyways. And then I'm going to do the SRA, which is this here, which is a whole class reading assessment, and then we'll have the track meet. So assessment, track meet. Then we have a full day of in-service, and then I'm gonna give the RI, which is like a computer reading inventory version here. 6th grade event, we have a baseball fundraiser, 25 of our kids are gonna go to that. And then this is the last day of school. We have Move the Pride, we're gonna try to do a glow day, and then it's the last day, which is gonna end up being a half day. So as you can probably tell, I don't have very many days left. Really and truly, I don't have hardly any instructional days left. So I'm going to just do the best that I can. With so many assessments that we've had to give this year in ELA, it takes up a lot of my time because the whole class reading assessment takes a day, the reading inventory takes a day, I have to do an IXL diagnostic, which takes another day. I still have to do reading conferences. That wasn't even on my calendar. Neither was the IXL diagnostic. And those take multiple days. And the writing assessment takes 2 days. So it just all is assessments. So these poor kids, I feel so bad. I'm like, yay, you finished PSSAs. Now let's throw you into a ton of assessments for the end of the year. It is what it is. We're going to try to make the best of it. So I have not even unpacked yet. I literally came in and started talking to you guys. As you can see, I still have like the sleepy morning voice. / my allergies have been super duper bad this week, like really bad. So I'm going to get myself unpacked here, and then I'm going to show you guys a few other things that I'm doing to hopefully get myself prepared so that I'm not losing my mind over the next 2 weeks. I spent a little bit of time this morning getting all of my assessments printed out. So I kind of grouped them by grade level and also the type of assessment it is. So now it's just making copies of all of these assessments so that I can hand them out to my students. The other thing I started doing was weeding through this stack. So I have only done that one over there. I haven't done any of the other ones. So I started going through this one and I changed my mind on how I was doing it. The ones that I'm not going to keep, I'm just kind of stacking them like this because I know for a fact that my students are not reading those. Now, it's super hard for me to say goodbye to books. So what I'm doing is I'm going to go through it one time, let it sit and marinate, and then I'm going to go through it again because I'm like, oh, well, maybe one day a kid will want to read it. So I'm just going to take a minute and kind of stand back and really think about the library. Again, it's all about me wanting to be very intentional with my library and making sure that I'm adding books in there that when a kid goes to the library, they're going to find an abundance of books that they want to read versus having to sit there and weed through it. So that is kind of the goal there. So I'm going to kind of take a break from that. I'm going to get my morning message ready so that my classroom is all set to go. It is 7:44. I got here at about 7 o'clock, so I've gotten good progress done. I'm going to show you guys a little bit later on in the day what we've been doing and working on with my ELA classes, like in between PSSAs, bless their hearts. I'm going to show you guys what we've been working on during those times because I've just kind of created a very guided pack for argumentative and opinion writing for a couple of different reasons. I don't have enough instruction time to be able to really teach it the way that I want to teach it, which is killing me to not get to the things that I need to get to by the end of the year. So I will show you guys some of those items maybe during my lunch break. See you then. Okay, it's officially my brunch time because I have a very early lunch, and I wanted to show you guys what we have been working on for our argumentative paper. So I decided to do one topic for both 5th and 6th grade and have the articles to kind of go along with it. I don't have the articles printed to show you, but they're just one-page articles. There's 3 of them. We read them together, and took notes on them, kind of did our road mapping to track our thinking, and then we were working on our paper writing. So I wanted to show you something that I did with my 5th graders to kind of help support them a little bit better with identifying the difference between a reason and an evidence. So here is what we did. So the first thing that we did is we talked about some of the choices that we have. So we talked about these. One was to continue time switching just like normal. The other one is to have permanent daylight savings time, and the other one is to have permanent standard time. So we've discussed this multiple times throughout us reading the articles. So the kids had to identify what are some of the reasons why we would choose these. And so what we did is I have a bunch of reasons here. This, you can't see it on the camera, but woo. But these are a little bit more grayed out than this. I guess you can kind of see the comparison there. So I just gave them these, and then I gave them these. And so the kids had to then decide which one would it go under. So it benefits the economy, so that would be permanent daylight savings time. It's safer in the morning, that would be permanent standard time. And so they would have 3 reasons under each of these. After we discussed, so they got to do this with their groups, and then I checked them that they were correct, and we discussed them together. I then gave them the evidence. And so I told them that the pieces of evidence here go under each of the reasons. So the kids then had to decide which of the evidence would best support that reason, and they would have multiple reasons. That's my lunch. So they went through and we discussed the evidence piece of it. So that kind of helped some of the kids who knew which side they wanted to be on as far as like their claims, but didn't have sufficient reasons to kind of support. I kind of gave them the reasons without telling them that I was giving them the reasons. So I kind of scaffolded that process for them. And then today we've started working on the actual writing piece. So let me show you what this looks like. Okay, so this is kind of the pack that I've given them, but theirs is digital, so they just do it on their iPads. So we have the argumentative opinion writing. I start off with the introduction as always, so the kids will introduce. They have to explain what their side is, like basically like what is daylight savings time or what is permanent standard time, explaining that here for their reader, and then they have to give their opinion down here. Then they get their arguments. So we're going to do their reason here, what's the evidence, explain that evidence, give another piece of evidence, explain, and then here's the so what. So how does this all go back to their reason? Now, at the very end of this, let me see if I can pull this one out. I give them transition. So we talk about introducing your opinion, supporting your paragraph, the evidence, explanations, and then counter argument is a 6th grade item, which I'll show you that in a minute, conclusions, and then call to actions. So they use this to build this, and I tell them they should have one at the beginning of each. So I modeled that piece for them. So they do, 5th grade will do 3 arguments. So they have 1, 2, and then 3. 6th grade, however, will do 2 arguments with a counterclaim. So they will have to provide the counterclaim and then offer the rebuttal towards the very end. And then we have the conclusion paragraph here, where it basically will say, you know, restating your opinion, going into why is this important to your reader, and then give your reader a call to action at the very end of it. As I mentioned, this is very, very guided. And the reason for that, again, is because I just don't have the time to do it any other way. And this has really, really helped my kiddos with their writing pieces. So, feeling good about that. 6th grade is going to be finishing theirs today because they had more time yesterday. So a lot of them are going to be in the actual writing process where they're just typing it out at this point. So I'm going to be checking in with some of those kiddos, making sure they're getting done. And yeah, that's really about it. I'm going to eat my lunch. Can anyone guess what my lunch is? If you said an Amy's bowl, you are so right. What can I say, guys? I'm a creature of habit. So I am gonna go ahead and sit down, eat my lunch, and finish out the rest of the day. So I will see you guys a little bit later. Hold on. I wanted to show you guys I made more progress. Look at all the progress that I've made. I mean, my books look wild, but whatever. So all of these are not gonna stay. These are not gonna stay. I think I'm gonna have 6th grade go through some of this with me, decide which ones are really good ones and which ones are not. And then I think I'm gonna have them create a list of books that we should get in the library. If you ever wanna know what you should add into your library, ask your students. They're gonna tell you what they want. And I try to listen to them as much as possible because I'm getting old. So I hope that you guys are doing well, and I'll catch you guys at the end of the day. Today was a day. I'm ready for my couch. I'm ready for the weekend. And I honestly don't really want to do much. That is going to be my game plan. That's a lie. Y'all know I'm going to do stuff because I can't help myself to do things. I don't know how to relax. I get that from my mom and dad. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dad, for teaching me that. But I wanted to share one last thing with you guys before you end up leaving. So we are in May, and I am going to be releasing or kind of launching access to my membership, which is the Bridging Literacy Community. It's my heart. I love it. And it has so many great things, but I wanted to show you one of the recent things that I'm going to be adding in there. So one of the things that I do is I create anchor videos. So I will unpack anchor videos. I'm going to leave a link. I think it's like over here or over here, but I'm going to leave a link to one of the previous anchor videos that I did live so that you guys can see what it's like. So I unpack one of the anchors, and this is anchor 7 for reading literature. And this anchor is like all about like visual illustrations, like mixed media, like the media types, and being able to compare it and see how kind of it contributes to the beauty of the story. Well, I was taking Blaney to his book fair this week. It's been a busy week. And I came across this book. I Survived is coming out with graphic novels. Did you guys know that? Like, did you know that I Survived is coming out with graphic novels now? Now, I have had like a love-hate relationship with graphic novels. I love them because the illustrations. I mean, how do you just not love that? But I hate them because I always felt like kids, especially in the 4, 5, 6 range, they really never got anything out of it. Like, I felt like they were finishing it in a day. They were breezing through it. They weren't really thinking about a text. And kind of the whole point of being a teacher is that you help kids learn how to think. Well, with this reading standard, I was talking with one of the viewers, Leslie. Hey girl, if you're here watching this, I'm sure you are. And we started talking about like the importance of like maybe utilizing this for our benefit a little bit more versus just always talking about how much we hate it. Because let's be honest, I Survived is now coming out with like series of them. They're going to be everywhere. We're seeing graphic novels pop out more and more and more often, especially with things like A Wrinkle in Time is now in a graphic novel. You have all of the Wings of Fire books, which are also in graphic novels. So it's like they create companions for them, which is actually would be a really cool comparison between the two. Like if you read the text as a read aloud and then you went through the graphic novel, I think it would be very interesting. Well, I decided to create this, and I'm so proud of it. Look at this. Look at this. Isn't it cute? So this would be a graphic novel book study. And what I did is I created templates that I felt like would go with the graphic novel and would allow teachers to be able to mix and match it. So you can kind of determine what you want it to focus on for each of the chapters, and then you would make copies and create a book. So let me show you what I mean. So here would be the cover. You have a spot for the kids to write the title, then you have a spot for the author, and then a spot for their name. And then it comes with these different templates. And they're super generic because I wanted teachers within my membership to have the ability to kind of see what they like and what they want to insert into their book study. So this one talks about like what happened in this chapter. How does the main character think? How do they feel? How do the illustrations help you to know this? Where does it take place? So going into the setting, what is the mood of this part of the text? And then what information did you get from the illustrations? So you can see that it's kind of generic-y. This one, at this point in the story, what have you learned about the main character? So background knowledge. You could probably do this at least like 2 or 3 different times. What are some of the intrinsic, extrinsic characteristics? How does the character's actions contribute to the events? Choose an event from the story. How did the character respond to that event? Use details from the text to be able to support it. Okay, dropping stuff. This one goes into conflict. So we have conflict, what characters are involved, how did the conflict begin, what is affecting the character. And then we have, this one's a little bit more generic, where it talks about like the summary of what's happened so far, what have you had to infer from the illustrations. And there's like an extra part down here. This was like a pre-printed before I had finished it all the way. But then I thought this one would be fun too. Draw the most important events from the chapter using your own perspective. So they could kind of create their own graphic novel, but summarizing what's happened in that chapter through this one page. So I can decide, I could do this twice, and if I wanted to do it for 2 different chapters, I can choose to do multiple of these at different points, but you would essentially create your pack, and then you would staple it, boom, 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 and do a graphic novel book study. I know we do book studies with bigger text that we read, but I just think that if we're going to see these more and more often, why not teach kids how to read these correctly and really go deeper with their thinking and talking about some of those illustrations. And this fits perfectly with that standard. So if you're looking at standard 7 and you're like, what in the world? This would be a great way to do that with that standard. especially if you are in the upper grades and you need to compare and contrast. You can read A Wrinkle in Time, you can watch it, you can do the graphic novel. There's a lot of different avenues in that point where you can do kind of a compare and contrast with that. So just a thought. If you are really interested in this, I have other resources that are just like this, all within my membership. I provide teacher trainings. I go into a lot of the anchors. We're going to continuously add those, and we're going to hit those hard this summer, which I'm very, very excited about. We give monthly free resources as well. So each month has a different theme. We did test taking strategies. We had like main idea focus. We are also doing a classroom debate right now, so you can kind of insert those anywhere you like. And of course, any of the support that you need, you get that from me within our private Facebook group. So if you are interested in joining the membership, guys, I'm telling you, I'm not opening it up midsummer. I don't know when I'm going to open it up back up, but I'm only going to do this through email. So you have to join the wait list for the Bridging Literacy community if you want to get in within the next couple of weeks, because I'm going to open it up. I'm going to open it up for a limited time, and then I'm going to close it, and I'm going to keep it closed for a while until I can get some of these other items done. And so that I can help focus and help all of you that are going to be joining the membership. So I'm going to leave some links down in the description box. You guys can go and check that out, learn a little bit more. And if you have questions or if you have comments, like anything about the membership itself, just leave it down in like the comment section. I'm going to be watching it. I will answer your comments there. You can always email me at bridget@theletteredclassroom.com. Happy to answer any of those questions. So that is it, guys. This is where I'm going to leave the vlog. Thank you all so much for watching. When you're watching this, it's Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day. If you are a dog mom, a cat mom, if you are just a mom to your students, whatever it might be, you're a mom, I'm sure, in so many other people's eyes. So happy Mother's Day to you, and I hope you guys have a really, really great weekend. I will be enjoying it on my couch. Thank you again for watching. Be sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and also give it a like. Thank you guys, and I will catch you all next week. Bye.